some things take time before you get your rewards, okay? Sometimes we just have to put in hard work, consistency. You may not see the results today or even tomorrow, or even next week, but over time, the results come, okay? And this is one of it that I'm so damn proud of, okay? So a student contacted me to let me know about this good news. Basically, I taught him during the pandemic years. It was an online singing program for about 8 weeks. And for those 8 weeks, I was incessantly nagging at them to keep doing deep breathing when they sing. Now that's the thing, right? It's not so easy to do deep breathing. It's not, okay? And if you don't have the patience, the determination, chances are you're gonna give up on singing, or you're just gonna try to find another way to sing that can maybe allow you to sing, but you will still find that in some way, shape or form, you cannot do certain things, okay, in the end. It can be something like you can belt, but you just don't find that you have the flexibility and the freedom in your voice. Or it can be that you cannot transit from your real voice to your falsetto with stability. Or maybe you can't do runs very well, Deep breathing is not easy to achieve on a consistent level, okay, but he did it. And I remember this particular student, because he was so passionate about singing, he even had those professional equipment, looking better than me on Zoom, with a condenser mic hanging and the professional headphones, that kind of stuff. But I remember him, he was so passionate, and he was one of those students who actually breathed the most shallow. I could even see him breathing to his collarbone. That high, the chest breathing, kind of high, okay? He just couldn't get deep breathing, I would say, for a huge part of the program back then. And then after 8 weeks, it's like bye-bye, okay? But he persisted. I wouldn't know what they're up to after the course, there'll be people who just forgot what I teach, right? But he remembered and he persisted. And so I'm so happy to receive this message from him, because it not only helped him in singing, it also helped him in his IPPT scores, okay? So for those of you who are not from Singapore, IPPT is like a fitness test that every man in Singapore has to take every single year to make sure that you maintain your physical fitness, okay? And it's amazing because I think previously I had interviewed a student from China who was trained as an athlete, a runner, and she told me that her China teacher taught her back then that she was supposed to breathe to right below the belly button, to the belly, okay? It's not here, it's not here. And it's fascinating for me because I think that a lot of health coaches don't teach breathing, and it's not their fault. I mean, if they are not informed, then why talk about breathing, And I always feel that there's a disconnection between breathing and running, but that shouldn't be. We should give focus to how we breathe when we want to swim or when we want to run. Now, of course, at the beginning, most people are used to chest breathing. And well, I don't fault them. I mean, we were all born to breathe like that, like my son here in this video, but we all forgot about it because of stress and anxiety. Our breathing shifts up to the chest. And if nobody corrects us, then well, too bad, you just continue to live and breathe. Okay, but you have to remember that this is sufficient for everyday living, but it's not good enough for singing. Now, singing is very different, okay? It's highly athletic with regards to how you project your voice. We don't look like athletes to you, I know, but we are. But the first thing to take charge of is how we breathe. And if you're breathing to the diaphragm level, which is what I know a lot of vocal coaches teach, or if you're taught to breathe to the rib cage only, which is what I know a lot of vocal teachers teach as well, it's not deep enough. You want to try? Okay, put your hand here over the chest and the other hand over your rib cage, okay? So you can put your hands like that and you try to breathe to expand your rib cage. You realize that there's still some air going into your chest. There's still some air filling up your chest, okay? Compared to if you try your best to breathe to below your belly button. Okay, so at the first few tries, you may still feel that you are engaging this part to breathe. It's entirely normal, and that's the issue, right? Because if you have been breathing like that for so many years, and then suddenly you are expected to go back to how you were born to breathe, which is here, it's gonna take some time to rewire the brain and rewire the body. And the truth is that people get impatient and they start to question, are you sure that's the way to breathe? Are you sure that's the way to sing? But that is how classical singers are trained to sing. And if you think about it, the ancestry of singing is the classical opera singers. And if they were trained to sing such difficult arias, they must be doing something right, okay? And deep breathing is something that, interestingly for me, is cross countries, because I was trained by a German classical singing teacher who taught me to breathe this way. And I realized that this point coincides with what the Chinese opera singers were asked to do for breathing, okay? And in Chinese, we call this spot Dan Tian. So it's fascinating to me. The Germans and the Chinese don't talk to each other. They sing in different languages. The music are so different. And yet, to sing so rigorously, they have to breathe to below the belly button, which is deep breathing. So if you are still struggling with power, stability, things like that, you may not be doing this part correctly, okay? Because to me, this is your power station, and if you do not engage your power station correctly, you're not going to get power. Now, people who are trained to breathe to their rib cage or breathe to their diaphragm and sing from the diaphragm, that kind of stuff, right? They can still sing. They can even be singing teachers. They can still sing. But the truth is, they will always find that there's something missing. In some way, shape, or form. It can be that when they sing, there's a lot of tightness at the back, or there's a lot of stiffness in their singing. There's no flexibility in their singing when they sing high notes, or when they want to do runs, or when they want to do transitions from mixed voice to falsetto, or belting to falsetto, or whatsoever. There's something missing. And that something is because they are supporting the voice from way too high. They have to go way lower, and the truth is that not everybody wants to dedicate the time to train for that. But my students all went through the grind and all emerged better at the end of it. And I can tell you, the people who sing really well amongst my students are those who are consistent with practice, are those who put in time and effort to really keep observing themselves and have a heightened sense of body awareness. Because if you want to be a good singer, you need to have heightened body awareness. I didn't used to have it. If I can have it now, so can you, okay? I think it's a matter of wanting it for yourself. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna give you an assignment, okay? So every time you get a chance to breathe, which is right now, I want you to make sure that you're breathing to below your belly button. If you feel this part inflating as well, it's alright. We need time to transit the breathing to lower and lower places, okay? But I want you to remember that anytime you get a chance to practice, this is where you're supposed to breathe to, okay? Which is how you were born to breathe as a baby. So I would really love to hear from you where you're breathing to, how deep are you breathing to? What's your difficulties and challenges in singing? How were you taught by other teachers? Were you taught to breathe to the belly button or below the belly button? Do you sing pop or classical? By the way, I don't sing classical pieces because I'm a pop singer, okay? But classical techniques can be used to sing pop songs, and I think the people who sing really well, whether they know it or not, they are using some semblance of classical singing techniques, okay? So we shall explore this in future episodes, but in the meantime, I hope to hear from you. Bye!